This week we're doing something a little different. We're actually going to be doing breakfast, which we haven't done before, even though we're going to be having breakfast for dinner tonight. But we made these the other day and they turned out really good. We were actually going to get some new tattoos, which it had been way too long. They're new, so we probably won't show you pictures of them yet. We'll let them heal up a little bit and we'll get some pictures out. But needed to make sure we had a good meal before we went. So needed some tattoo fuel. So we made some bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. And it's just a simple, classic recipe. A few little tweaks here and there to kind of just, take it to that next level and just give you that, kind of like that taste you're used to when you go and buy one, from somebody else who's made it for you. Give you that kind of like bodega feel or just, hot off the griddle feel. So we'll get started and we'll whip these things up. So for these sandwiches, we're not doing anything crazy. It's gonna be just a nice bacon, some American cheese, because it just melts up great. We're gonna do a bodega style or a flat top style egg and put that together with some nice rolls. Wrap it all up in foil, let all the flavors meld together, and it's gonna turn out really good. These sandwiches come together really quick. The longest part is gonna be cooking the bacon because, like we've been doing in a lot of our other videos you may have seen, we're gonna do it in the oven. It just makes it, it gives a nice crispy flat bacon, which is perfect for sandwiches. With these, because we've got a square roll, we've got square cheese, we're gonna do square bacon. So we're gonna actually weave this so it comes out in a nice little flat mat, which just works great in the oven. So to get started, we're gonna grab our sheet pans, throw some foil in them because it just makes the cleanup easier, and get our bacon shingled together and woven together. We're gonna go with a pecan wood smoked bacon. We picked some up recently and it's got a really nice flavor to it, adds a little something. It's thick cut, so it just, it's substantial. It's gonna hold up in the sandwich, so you're gonna know it's there. So we're doing 6 slices of bacon, cut in half, and then woven together, so it'll basically be 3 pieces of bacon per sandwich. You can do this on a larger sheet pan without cutting the bacon in half and just cut it after you're done, but we're working with small sheet pans, so they get cut first. All right, so time to get the bacon in the oven. So like we've done before, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to put our bacon in the oven now because it can. So one on top, one on the bottom. Close that up, and we're going to set it to convection, and we're going to preheat to 400 degrees and get this started. Once it preheats, we're going to flip the top and the bottom tray and then set a timer for 20 minutes. We'll start checking it around the 10-minute mark to see how it's coming along. We figured it out pretty good with regular bacon, but with it being woven like this, it sort of messes with the cooking time a little bit. It takes a little bit longer, but we'll go ahead and get this started and see how it goes. So the preheat buzzer just went off, so I'm gonna open this up. We're gonna take a look and see how they're doing. Looking pretty good. I'm not gonna flip them at this point. Just gonna let it go. We'll set a 20-minute timer and we'll start keeping an eye on them. The other day when I did this, at the 10-minute mark, close this. At the 10-minute mark, the first row was done, the top row, and I moved the bottom row up and it finished in another 10 minutes. So maybe this will work out the same. How do I set the timer?
It's your design.
There we go. So it's been almost 10 minutes. I'm gonna check on the bacon and see how that top shelf is looking. Yeah, it looks like it can come out. This top one, set that there. Switch our bottom one, get it up onto the top and let it go for a couple more minutes. In the meantime, we got some stuff we can be doing. All right, so get this bacon onto a plate and let it start to stop sizzling like that. Uh-oh, need some more paper towels. Get those in a minute. Gentle. I don't want to tear my foil and then have to clean my pan. That's the whole point. Look at that. So, while that bacon finishes, we can start toasting our bread, because putting a little bit of toast on the bread will just help keep it from getting soggy when we build our sandwich. Not that there's a ton of wet ingredients here, but and you know, we could use bacon, we could use oil, or we could use bacon fat, because we have some sitting right there, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna toast our bread in a little bit of bacon fat, because doesn't that sound good? Just dip it in here, get a nice little coating on it, and right into our pan. We just keep these moving so they don't burn. Look at that. A little bit more on this guy. So this pan has been another good one for us. It's non-stick, it's nice and small, it works with the induction, and has a removable handle, so it packs away really nice. Uh-oh. There, handle back on. And I'll put a link to it in the description, but it's a Berghoff. It's one of their gem series. We bought it in a store, but I think I've looked since and found them on Amazon. So I'll put a link in the description. And off. Perfect. So we went with some Hawaiian rolls, big Hawaiian rolls. Otherwise, like a nice Kaiser roll. You know, something with a little bit of heft to it, but not too dense. You know, you want it to stand up to the sandwich, but you don't want it to be like chewing through like an English muffin or something. It might just be a little too much for this type of a sandwich. Bacon should be good by now. Yeah. Warm. So we're about ready to really start getting into putting these sandwiches together and cooking them. It goes pretty quick, so I just like to have everything laid out and ready to go. So we've got our buns, got our eggs, which we were lucky enough at our last stop. We're actually able to get some fresh eggs from the owner of the restaurant we had been eating at, and we'll gladly take them. So we've got those ready to go. The only thing I like to do with the buns before we get too far into anything is not a lot of seasoning on these sandwiches. They're pretty straightforward. I just like a little bit of mayonnaise right on the bottom. Spread that. And then get that spread out. And then just give it a nice little crack, a few cracks of black pepper. And that's it for any special seasoning. Just put these back so they're ready to go. And we'll get to the eggs. All right, so for the eggs, since I'm using multiple eggs, I always like to put them into a separate container first, in case we get, you know, a bad egg or something, we don't ruin the others. And also, since, oops, well, that was an easy piece of eggshell to get out. And since we're gonna whisk these for scrambled eggs, yeah, they need to go someplace. Now with these though, first, this is why I like eggs from chickens that are raised on pasture. Look at those yolks. So for this, we're not gonna season them at all, and we're not gonna go crazy trying to mix these things up. We're gonna give it like 10 seconds. So there's still plenty not integrated together. It'll give it a little bit of a different feel when they cook. So This pan's still pretty hot from toasting our buns, so we'll get it back up. Butter, because yes. We'll get that in there and let that melt. All right, so our butter's melted. Just gonna go right in with our eggs. And we're just gonna keep this moving a little bit, just so the eggs have a chance to cook, but they don't stick, which, I mean, it's a non-stick pan, so they really shouldn't. What we want to do is we want these eggs to get about 80% cooked. And then what we're gonna do is add our cheese right inside. All right, so now single slice of cheese right in the middle, and then we start to fold our eggs over. What this is gonna do is, one, it's gonna melt our cheese. Two, we've got square bacon, we've got kind of square buns. Now we're gonna have a square egg, and it's easy to come up with that square shape because the cheese was square. And I don't have to do math or think. Math, whatever. Just gonna flip this, even though I don't really need to, just hold that together. All right. Start our assembly. Come right here. Bacon down first. Our egg on top. Frances has requested no extra cheese on hers, so we'll just top that. And then what we're gonna do is give this a nice little wrap and let this sit so everything gets a chance to really kind of meld together nicely in there while we make my sandwich. All right, so these have sat for a while, should be good to go. And yes, I know, as Frances just reminded me off camera, she wraps better than I do. I get it, whatever. I tore my foil a little too small. Whatever. It served its purpose, and now I can unwrap and get into my ooey gooey sandwich that has 2 slices of cheese on it, because that's how it should be. Not like Frances, who only wanted 1 slice for some reason. Get this nice and layered and all stuck together and good. You're gonna get bacon in every single bite, so it's not gonna pull apart. And it's still pretty hot. But it's really good. So, yeah, that's it. Easy, good, tattoo fuel. If you like this, give us a like. If you'd like to see stuff like this, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll do more for you. See you down the road.